All right, I got another spicy one today because the organization, they might be back, allegedly. But in order to talk about this, I'm going to have to immediately go into webcomic spoilers. So if you don't want to know what's going to happen past what the manga is currently on, I suggest you check out now. So for like the longest time, we've been waiting, or at least I know that I have, for like the organization to do something, just to come back into the story because they're interesting, right? I mean, clearly it's a plot line, storyline that's been set up in the very beginning, and that's been slowly been fleshing out. So that last year with Chapter 119, when they got thrusted right back into relevancy with Drive Night and all of that stuff that I've talked about ad nauseum on this channel, which I'm going to go more into in this video, of course, it was refreshing because now we're like, okay, the organization, they're definitely relevant. They're still coming back. They're still a force. And then recently in Chapter 125 of the webcomic, we got introduced to Eramin and Destro, which totally flipped everything on its head. Now, it's not outright like stated that these guys are in the organization, or even really implied as much as it is with Drive Night in Chapter 119. But if we kind of like read between the lines and start comparing stuff, we're going to see that, one, he pulled a little sneaky on us, which is awesome. So these two are apparently responsible for like being the security of the Neo Tower, like the HQ. And they're also agents in charge of cracking down on rule violators, meaning like the Neo leaders or the candidates. Like if they act up, they're pretty much going to, I guess, incarcerate them or just beat them down or something, meaning that these guys are pretty much being scaled to being just as strong, if not stronger, than a typical Neo leader here. So going back to what I was talking about in the Raiden video, maybe above S-class level, but I'm going to try to scale these guys towards the end of the video. But also, McCoy says that apparently they used to be mercenaries. I think that's just a BS backstory because, let's just cut straight to it right now. I think Eramin and Destro are the organization robots that we saw in the beginning of the series. The brain robot, and then the one robot that looks like something out of like Metal Gear or something, like Gray Fox. I mean, they kind of have aesthetic similarities. Like this one is shorter than the other one. And in the webcomic originally, the height was different. But in the anime and the manga, it's made to portray that the brain robot is shorter than the Gray Fox one. And also, I mean, it kind of looks like it too, like shapely wise, maybe, but also like the whole 95% and 94%, I think are dead giveaways here. So let's go into that because earlier in the chapter, Coco pretty much breaks down like the hierarchy of cyborgs. And he says that like, I guess he himself and like other participants in the Cyborg Fight League that he comes from are like 30%. At the most, and that going to like 60% is extremely risky, and that there's like maybe several cyborgs in the Hero Association that are 60% modified, and we'll go into that. But then he goes to like Webby Gaza, who's a Neo leader. She's 71%. So it's like if we're going to Eramin and Redestro, who are 94 and 95, these guys are like pretty much full-blown robots at that point. There's like very little human traits of them left. And if we go to the organization robots that we saw before, that's kind of matching that description, right? Like the Gray Fox robot, I mean, he looks completely, modified. I don't know what the 6% left could be. Maybe he's wearing a helmet or something. Like maybe he still has his head, kind of like Genos does maybe. Maybe this is what he looks like without his helmet on, possibly. Or maybe this is just a skin suit layered over that. Same thing with Eramin being 95%. That could also be an explanation for the brain robot. Like maybe that 5% is just the brain, which is pretty cool. And this is also obviously would be a skin suit on top of the brain robot. And then, what's the other 1% for Destro? It's like, I guess maybe his face or something. So like, what does all this mean? Like, why does the organization want to hide in plain sight inside of the Neo Hero infrastructure? It's like, what's the point? It goes back to basically what Drive Night said in Chapter 119, when he was like trying to pin what the organization and his own goals are on Metal Knight, because he's lying. He says that basically it's their goal, and I'm saying the organization's goal, in my opinion, is to keep growing their personal military force and one day take over the world. The Hero Association is nothing more than an obstacle. So obviously he's talking about himself and the Hero Association in this instance, but this can also be applied to what Eramin and Destro are doing in the Neo Heroes. They're hiding in plain sight, just like Drive Knight is hiding in plain sight in the S-Class. Slowly biding his time, building up his strength, taking in all of the data he can. And the best place to collect the data is at the Hero Association, where all of the strongest beings in the world are, pretty much, that aren't monsters. So now that Aramin and Destro and the Neo Heroes, they could do the same thing with a different sample pool, which is pretty cool once you think about it. And like, if this arc does inevitably go to a civil war, like what most of us assume, they're going to be on both sides of the battle at the same time, and they can essentially pull the strings the way they want to and do what they want, because they're going to have Drive Knight on one side, and then they're going to have Aramin and Destro on the other. And that also raises the question of Zaditz, who is also another Neo leader. He might be in the pocket of the organization, or at least the pocket of Aramin and Destro, because this guy is just kind of like a financial backer. He doesn't seem to be like super powerful, like inherently, like typically what a person on his level would be. But he says it's like, don't worry about me. I've set aside the highest budget for my personal equipment. So that makes me think that like maybe the Aramin and Destro, or just the organization, somehow gave him their tech. So maybe he's like being pulled by them as well. Maybe he's going to be a part of the organization in this battle, possibly. And also another thing that we have to remember is that, this is the webcomic continuity after all, and Drive Knight doesn't have all of the development that he has in the manga. So that's going to have to come to light very soon as well. And I think Aramin and Destro being in the Neo Heroes is going to be a device for that to happen, because like it has to happen, right? Because like I think it was eventually all set up from the very beginning, like Drive Knight's eventual end goal in being, in my opinion, let me put it out there, this isn't proven, the end goal of him being the Mad Cyborg, and probably the leader of the organization as well, because like the whole him telling Genos, Drive Knight is Metal Knight is your enemy, that's also in the webcomic. So that was like setting that seed right there, along with a bunch of other storylines that have yet to play out yet. But I think like the way that we just got shoehorned into a My Mask's history and Sonic's history, recently in the last couple chapters, I think one's going to do that with Drive Knight here, and then that's going to further bolster the whole organization storyline as well as the Mad Cyborg. So to finish off the video, I just want to have some fun now and try to scale Aramin and Destro, because why not? And I've always been super intrigued in the two organization robots from the beginning of the series, with how powerful they could be. So now, with all of this info, we might be able to come up with some of a rough estimate. So going back to Coco, he said that, like the cyborg fight competitor dudes are like 30% at the most. So he himself is probably 30%, 40 if we're being generous. And he is Neo leader candidate level. So that's basically like A-class level, maybe, somewhere around there, possibly. So then he goes on to say that there's like several cyborgs of the Hero Association that have 60% modification. So it's like, who are they? Is it Jet Nice Guy? Is he one of them? I mean, obviously Genos is going to be in there, and Drive Knight up for debate. We don't know for sure if he is known to be a cyborg yet, but maybe Coco is just guessing here. But it's like, if Jet Nice Guy is one of the cyborgs, if he's 60%, it's like, is he a Neo leader candidate level? Because he would be technically double the strength, I suppose, of Coco. It's like, it's hard to say, but we do see Webby Gaza, who is a Neo leader, is 71%. So more than double of Coco, who is a Neo leader candidate. She is a Neo leader, which like is basically the S-class equivalent, which means like at the minimum she's a demon. And we do see that she does have super strength when she like punches that wall, but like anyone, any A-class hero could probably, not anyone, but some of the A-class heroes could probably do that. So it's not really a good indicator of how strong she truly is, but I don't know, we could just put 71% at like maybe demon level. So if we're going all the way up to like 94 and 95, it's like, is that dragon? And also like, what is Genos? Because if Genos is like 94 or 90 or something, he's not even really like a full-blown dragon at this point either. I mean, maybe he's a low dragon in his lightning core, possibly. He did still struggle with the demon, so it's like so many questions here, not enough info. But I don't know, these guys are obviously pretty powerful, because they're making Coco sweat here. But anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comments. Do you think that these guys are the organization robots? Do you think Drive Knight is a part of the organization? What do you think is going to happen? How strong do you think they are? But if you like the video, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon that gives you extra weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.